So you had a pretty big thing happen a couple months back.
I did. I did my first enduro race.
First mountain bike race.
It was actually it was my first race ever.
When's the last time you did any kind of race?
I did a foot race.
Foot race? You challenged someone to a foot race?
Someone to a foot race, maybe back in junior high.
You said the Revelstoke Womens Enduro in Revelstoke, BC. And as you've seen from our channel and some other videos out there, Revelstoke is pretty awesome and it's also pretty gnarly too. So you were telling me you were pretty nervous going into it.
So being that it was my first race, I decided to add a little bit of extra pressure, of course, and film the whole race so that I could show you guys what my first race was like. But also I learned a ton along the way, and I think that some of the stuff I learned would be really helpful for anyone else who's thinking about trying their first race, so I just wanted to share that with you guys.
The first race for anybody, especially enduro races, you learn so much throughout the process. And so I know there's a lot of people out there that are typically on the fence of like, oh, should I try an enduro race this year? Maybe, maybe not. They're kind of like intimidated by it, as I was, as I think everybody is. So yeah, let's dive into it.
It's too cold in here, you
The
can't
heck?
snap. Sweet.
There you go. We'll talk.
All right. All right, so apparently it's long and pedally. Yeah, this whole event is so fun and chill that like, get to the top, just hanging out, and everybody's just like having fun. Whew. Thank you for pointing directly at it. Got it. Thanks.
Okay, but I think because I didn't pre-ride.
So one of the first things I learned was how important pre-riding is. We got up there a day early and we decided to pre-ride a few of the stages, but not all of the stages. Some of the stages we were able to shuttle, and so
Yeah, that's huge.
we decided to save our legs and shuttle those stages, and we did them a few times, and that was awesome. So one of the things that helped me up the most with this race was pre-riding stage 4. Let's see. Okay, so you're just coming down here. The left is just really hard. I think it's better to go straight because I think the left is just really hard to make because you're slipping. Now I feel so nervous. Gosh.
Yeah, it seems that every enduro race, there's always one stage that people are the most terrified about. And this was definitely that stage in this race. Stage 4,
For sure.
Gravy Bacon. It was the only black diamond in the race, I believe. People were pretty sketched out going into it.
Come on. All right, I'm gonna try it again. Oh, frick. That's hard. So by pre-riding this track and trying the hardest, most difficult part for me a few times, this ended up being my favorite stage of the race. I felt the most confident, and I was so elated when I got to the bottom and it had all gone smoothly, which only happened because I rode it a few times.
Yeah, if you had gone blind into that stage in the
I
race,
probably would have crashed.
yeah.
Most
Or
likely.
just had to stop right at the beginning where you did in the pre-ride, right?
Yeah.
So massive, massive difference between your first run down and your last run down, which
Totally.
is the race run, yeah. Huge.
Good to go, stage 2.
Good luck.
Thank you. My legs are tired from the last climb. And now here we are climbing again. you. Cool. There we go. Thanks, Sarah.
We all came down. We're like, where the
Yeah. Too pedally. I just want to go down.
One of the things that I really appreciated, like I've done races before where I just went totally by myself, and I've done races with a group of people, and I was there for this race, and we went with a whole big group of people. We all rented out a house, and it was awesome. Like everybody could kind of share the nerves together, eat the breakfast together, be loading bikes, working on bikes together.
Yeah, we even shared we shared tools, so everyone wasn't carrying a full setup of tools because we knew that we were all going to stick together.
Yeah.
So.
And throughout the race day, you pretty much stuck in the group with everybody, which is nice.
Yeah, we all just. When you're racing down, you're not together, and then you get to the bottom and you do the climbs together.
Yeah,
it's great.
Nice.
It's really fun. Am I good to go?
Yeah.
All right, proper downhill now. Berm donor. I think it should be proper. We are hoping. Exposure. Oh, bright and dried up. I really wish I had goggles on. I could see where I was going. Yeah. Thank you. Sweet. Oh, that was so good.
fun, hey?
Yeah. My next takeaway was that I didn't need to bring as much food and water as I thought I did.
Now this could change depending on the race.
For sure. And it was a colder day, so I was drinking lots of liquids, but if it was a hotter day, I might have been drinking even more. But I kind of regretted bringing a second water bottle just because there were so many places to refill, all the aid stations everywhere. There was food, there was water.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Made it through that first really sketchy section. So, it's all, other than how greasy and jumpy it is, it's all good. Woo! Oh, it is carved out in here. Oh. Ryder! Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Woohoo! Thanks. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Woohoo. That was good.
You want some candy?
Sick. Yeah, Twizzler.
One more.
One more. This might seem a little silly, but I was really, really happy that I had brought a few extra pairs of gloves. Now, this wasn't my idea. This was something the other girls that I was riding with had mentioned, that it's gonna be muddy. You might wanna change out your gloves partway through the day. So I changed out my gloves, I think 3 times,
Wow.
just because they were getting so caked with mud that I could barely grip onto my handlebars.
Yeah, and it was raining.
And it was raining, and it kept my hands warmer just changing them out. I mean, the other thing is if it's a dry day and you crash, you might just want to have an extra pair so your gloves aren't all gritty.
Yeah.
I would.
And you did.
And I did. I guess my next takeaway or my next tip is to wear a full face helmet. A lot of enduro races, they actually require you to wear full face helmets, but with this particular enduro, it was optional, and I personally was just so glad I wore one. It's a little bit hotter for the climbs, but it was so worth it for the downhills. It gave me a little bit more confidence, and yeah, if you crash,
Yeah,
you want to be wearing a full face. When you're doing a race, you're often pushing yourself a little bit higher than your skill level, just either with speed or with
being exhausted.
Yeah. So having as much protection as possible is a must.
And one of the people out there, we saw her come down and she had blood running down from her nose, and like she was a very competent rider too. Mm-hmm. And yet she slipped and fell because it's super slippery and it's an enduro race. Muddy and smacked her nose on the ground, or her bike, one of the two. But yeah. Full face.
Yeah. Go, up.
Oh, that was soft. Final stage 5, let's go. Oh, I hate that corner. Never make it like nice and smooth. Woohoo! Yeah. That okay? God. Legs are totally toast.
Yeah.
Done.
Now it's time for shots.
Time for shots. We have to go right to California today.
What? overall, I really, really enjoyed doing the enduro race. I definitely hated the climbs
What?
at times.
Oh, that's so weird.
But once you get in and you start going, you just go, right? The climbs were fun because we were together as a group and we were chatting and hanging out.
Yeah.
I got to the bottom and I remember saying to you, I'm never doing this again.
Yep, you did say those words.
It was such a great feeling to be through the finish line and then just be done and know that I didn't have to do any more climbing. But as soon as I got back the results and looked at them, and thought about all the ways I could do better, then I started talking about my next race.
Right. Yeah, that'll happen.
So-
And you did awesome. You were like dead center of the field of the entire group of women. There was
Right
like over
in the middle.
there was like 120 some racers, and you
there
were
was
like
like
53rd or something. Without pre-riding most of it and riding those super pedally stages without knowing where to push and where to let off, I think you did great. But yeah, you looking at your results, you were like, well, I could probably do better than that.
I was actually a little bit mad.
Yeah, so now your first enduro race. Like for me, on my first race of anything, I was just trying not to get last.
Yeah.
And that's what you said going in, as long as I'm not last or like bottom third or whatever. And then you met your goal and now you're angry about it. So we should be seeing her in some enduro races next year, or maybe downhill races.
Maybe.
If you guys and girls have any other tips for enduro racing or racing in general, put them down in the comments below. I think it'd be really helpful for everybody looking through, because when it comes to racing, we're kind of all in it together.
So if you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe.
Yeah, the next stop is Arkansas. We went to Bentonville. We finally got to Bentonville, and going a little van life with that one, so you'll have to see what that's all about. We'll see you in a few days. Thanks everybody for watching. Cheers.
I don't know why I did that. Thumbs up at the end. Cheers.